Hey, welcome to another episode of Big Money with host Nicholas Dengel. Today, Nicholas and I are going to be talking about how attitudes can change if money is in our lives is changed as well. So stay tuned. Hey, welcome back to this episode of Big Money with host Nicholas Dengel. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about money, how attitudes towards money change if all of a sudden you receive a lot of money, etc. And Nicholas, I just want to let you know that I met someone that purchased a lottery ticket. And he had in his mind that he was going to win. And so he mapped out a whole scenario. He knew that he was going to win maybe $500. And so he was going to then turn that $500 into more tickets. And then he'd win probably $500,000 or something of that nature. And next thing you know, he's built it up in his mind that he has close to $200 million. And he was formulating his letter of resignation, and his attitude started changing. At the end of the day, when I asked him how he did, he said, lottery tickets, what a scam.
Yeah.
And his attitude changed.
Well, I don't know if you've been to Vegas or not, but Vegas wasn't built by, people winning.
Well, who are the big winners there? It's the casinos.
Yes. Yes.
But all of us love to dream about getting money.
Who hasn't thought about winning $100 million right now? Typically I don't play, but sometimes I do. When it was like $1.6 billion, sure, why not? But I want to say Powerball was at like $204 million, and then Mega Millions was at like $300 million. That's life-changing money, correct?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
But if you don't have a plan in place, like you have a plan every day for yourself, what's going to happen with all that money?
I would venture to say, at least for myself, if I don't plan it out, etc., it's gone. It's spent. A little bit here, a little bit there. I need this. I want that. And next thing you know, I would be like many of the other lottery winning persons, be in debt within a year or 2 years.
Probably.
And so money does require some strategy.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And just being in the world requires strategy. If you sit back and think that you're going to win $100 million from the lottery and, my life's taken care of now, it's not. I mean, for one, you've got to love what you do.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you're going to be the one putting in the time and energy to build something, create something where you can have $100 million. You have better chances of you earning $100 million in life, in a business or whatever service that you're doing, than you do in actually winning the lottery and winning $100 million.
It's interesting. I read a statistic where 60% of the people that work in their job have a hate relationship with the job. They can't stand doing that kind of work.
That's probably true. If you don't like it, you're not going to be successful at it. And you do win $100 million. You're going to be like, you know what? I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah.
And then after that money's gone, what are you going to do then?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
If I were to win that kind of money, I'm going to want to stay in the game. Because that's what drives me, the grind, the hustle of getting up and getting after it every day.
So you like to accomplish something?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You have to accomplish something every day. If it's little, if it's small, and some of these slides that we're going to see, there's creating a to-do list every day. Yes, I have a to-do list every day because there's small accomplishments. It's things that I have to accomplish that day, and then it rolls into goals. You have to set goals for yourself. Because if you're not setting goals for yourself, why even bother getting up?
That's true. That's true. Well, Jordy McGraw did some work on the internet in which he looked at a variety of different things that successful people, the people that have money, understand and have some proper attitudes. And I think those individuals that look at money, that don't have money, etc., don't really understand that money isn't the end-all kind of thing. It's just money that you can spend, and it's the attitudes. And he put together things that rich people never ever do. And so, what's the first one, Nicholas, that you noticed?
They don't spend money that they don't have.
That's true. That's true.
One of the nice things about being in the position that I am in, yes, we do have the money for things, but we can finance at 0%. So it's borrowing free money. Who doesn't want to borrow free money?
That's true.
I'm not paying any interest back on it, but if I needed to, I could spend the money that I do have to purchase something. And I'm not going to go out there frivolously and, have a bunch of credit card debt and buy cars that I can't afford, buy a home that I can't afford, and different things like that, because why put yourself in a position like that?
Well, I've run across, and I'm quite sure you have too, especially when you're selling cars, etc., you're dealing with credit issues. And there is a group of individuals that is so afraid of debt that they will pay everything off. And what happens is that adversely affects their credit.
It can. It really can, but if you have a lot of lines of credit where they have been paid off early, typically you're still going to be in a good situation.
Okay.
A lot of the banks still see that and recognize that, so you are probably going to get a higher interest rate.
No, okay.
Because
well, that makes sense.
The bank is a business. They want to make their money, and that's how they overcome that.
Sure. But I think the point that is well taken. Never spend money that you don't have. And oftentimes we think we want something and we need something, and want and need are two different things.
Wants and needs are two different things. I deal with that with individuals that come out to the store every day. They want a sunroof in a car. I don't need a sunroof. But they want a sunroof. And you have to get over that obstacle or objection of, do you need a sunroof? No, I don't. Most of my needs are, I need third row because we have 4 kids.
Yeah, that's true.
So what's more important, the third row or the sunroof?
Yeah. So that spending that money, etc. You brought another slide.
Yeah, never stay at the same level. Always.
What do you mean by that?
Well, don't you want to grow? Don't you want to be more successful than you were 6 months, 12 months ago? I do, at least. You started this YouTube show how long ago?
About 10 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah, 8 years.
8 years ago. Where were you at 8 years ago?
Physically or mentally. We were just starting out, and our goal at that time was 10 people to listen to our weekly podcast on the radio.
And that's grown over the last 8 years.
Yes.
And if you were doing something 8 years from now, I was shooting for 10 8 years ago, and I have 9, but I'm shooting for that 10 person. Does that make you feel good?
Yeah. So what you're saying is we should always establish goals, long-term and short-term.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you want to kick back and coast through life and put your feet up and not have anything to worry about, stay at the same level.
Yeah.
And everything else in your life will stay at the same level.
I would imagine that's the same with salespeople.
Yeah, it is.
That if they sold 15 cars one month, maybe their next month, maybe 16 cars. I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, you should always want more for yourself. You really should, because it's a sense of accomplishment. It's success, and people want to be around winners. People want to be around successful people. Because what did that person do? I need to listen to them. I need to find out, how they accomplished that goal. And it just drives people to do more and more and more.
That makes sense. The next slide.
Never go without a mentor. I'm huge on this. Even if people don't know that you're their mentor, there's nothing wrong with that. And just having one is okay. And yes, it's okay to outgrow a mentor, but always have somebody that you can, get advice from, get ideas from. I know I have probably 4 or 5 mentors. Do they know that they're my mentor? No, probably not. But it's people that I look for advice to get out of.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. In the Small Business Development Center, small business counselors are considered mentors too. Because somebody that's starting a business is probably looking at something a certain way, and sometimes a mentor can point out, well, there's 3 different ways you can look at it. Well, that makes sense. The next slide you brought in, never focus on money, and never focus on the money and not what they love. What do you mean by that?
Well, whatever job that you're doing, give it 110%. If you can give 110%, don't think about, how much money am I going to make at the end. Think about the job and your accomplishment, and if there's other people involved in the job, think about their accomplishments that they're going to have, because a great leader isn't about leading themselves, it's about leading the team to the next level.
Well, now that you mention it, there are a number of different very successful business entrepreneurs. Lee Iacocca, who is the person that ran GE. There's a variety of different ones, and yes, motivation was money, but it was primarily the love. Is what you're saying?
Well, look at Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
And Apple fired Steve Jobs, and then they realized, well, we can't do this without Steve Jobs. He came back, and look at how successful is Apple. Look at Steve Bezos.
Yeah.
CEO of Amazon.
Yeah.
How successful is him? And he started in a room like this, just sending out books.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. And probably, I think the biggest part for entrepreneurs is money is the goal, but the love of what you're doing is even better.
Money is the goal of an entrepreneur, but getting there to have the money and building something out of nothing is probably the bigger two of the goal.
That makes sense.
And this goes back to not for the love of money, but for the job. Don't hate your job. Because if you hate it, and you're not going to be successful at it, then get out.
I worked with a coworker. It was interesting. This was my earlier period when we came to work. The first thing he said as he went through the door is it 5 o'clock yet? And you could hear him say, I hate my job, I hate my job.
Oh, yeah.
And within 2 years, he looked like an old person. He was so beat down.
there's days when, there's issues at the store that, aren't fun to deal with.
Yeah.
But every day I'm at the store at 7:30 in the morning. Nobody else is there. People don't get there for about another hour, which is fine with me because I can get a lot done in that hour.
Yeah.
I'm the last one to leave.
Yeah.
And it's because it's A, I have to do the job, and B, I love it. I don't see myself doing anything else. I really don't. I've thought about it 1,000 times. If I won a gazillion dollars, what would I do? Maybe take a little bit of time off.
A couple days.
A couple days, but you know what? I'm going to want to get back in the grind and the hustle and get back in the mix. I want to be in the game.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I don't want to be on the sideline, and that's where this is a crutch. I don't love my job. I'll win the lottery. I'll sit on the sideline. Well, the game's over with.
Yeah.
You're still on the sideline. You don't have any money left. What are you going to do now?
Yeah, that's true.
I was in a position where I hated everything. Man, I got to start over now. What am I going to do? So no matter what happens here, stay in the game.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Never believe in fate. Oh, well, it's fate. It was supposed to happen. It only happened because you made it happen. That's all I have.
Now, what do you mean by that?
What do I mean by that? It only happens because of you.
Why?
You put yourself in that position. I was just standing on the corner or whatever. In that moment, you decided to go wherever, say whatever, do whatever. You did it because of you, not because of anybody else. It's on you.
So you're saying we should be the masters of our own ship.
Yes.
We shouldn't be the sailors
Correct.
of our dying ship.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
I understand. And the next slide.
Well, never go without a to-do list. Every day, I get to work and I write down what I have to accomplish every day. And it might be 3 things, it might be 20 things, but it's, that's what I do every day because, I can check them off because I'm going to get busy. I'm going to forget about stuff. And then I'm going to have accomplishments. They might be small, but at least I can accomplish something.
Well, I think you make a really good point. Not only in making the list, but many times what we do as human beings, we make a list, we accomplish stuff, but we don't go back and congratulate ourselves for completing the tasks.
Yeah, well, I guess that's true, but
there's nothing worse than having a big to-do list, scratching off everything and then throwing it in the paper. Take 5 minutes to just back and say, look what I did. And what that does is that allows us to feel that we have really accomplished a positive life.
Well, I guess I can do that because on my notepad, when I rip off that sheet of paper and throw it in the trash, I guess that's my accomplishment because I knew I completed that and I'm done with that sheet of paper and I'm done with all those tasks and gone.
Yeah. And I understand. However way we reward ourselves. I found that many very successful people can sleep at night. And the reason being is once they've accomplished that and they recognize they accomplished that, they don't worry until tomorrow about their list of things. There are some individuals that stay up late at night making lists and worrying about this and worrying about that, and they don't get a good sleep. And so for the thing that I found is, the last thing you should think about if you're thinking about work is what's the accomplishments you did that day.
Yeah. No, that makes all the sense in the world. It does. And I want to say set goals, daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, yearly goals, 5 years goals, whatever.
Yeah.
and write them down. You should always write them down, because if you say, oh, I'm going to make a mental note of it, and I want to do this today, well, it doesn't get done. I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
At least that written down goal is going to stay in front of you.
You're right.
And well, I wasn't able to get it done. We'll make it happen today. And anybody that doesn't want to set goals for themselves,
Yeah.
needs to go play the lottery. Fear. What's the definition of fear?
Fear is being looking at the future in a very negative light.
What if you broke down FEAR? What the analogy of fear?
I don't know.
False events appearing real.
Oh, okay.
Is what fear is, and that's all it is
False events
appearing real.
Oh.
That's what fear is. And
it's sort of natural. If all of a sudden you get a letter from the IRS saying, we would like to see all of your tax for the last 3 years, there's a normal set of fear.
Well, I'm not fearful for myself. I'm fearful, I guess, for my accountant, because that's who does my taxes. And if they screwed something up, that's going to be on them. But it goes back to, it only happens to you because of you.
Yeah, that's true.
And if you put yourself in a bad situation and it pops back up a year or whatever later, that's on you. And you have to tackle that fear. And there is no better feeling than accomplishing, that fear, and that fear not being there anywhere, there for you anymore.
Statistics show that the things that we fear the most never occur.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. And
this is a big one. I learned many years ago. Never let emotions get in the way. You can't do any.
We are human beings with emotions.
Yeah, we are.
And we are not Dr. Spock's.
But in business decisions have to be made without emotion. Well, this guy's beating me up on the price of this car. I'm not going to do the deal. This person's a jerk or whatever. I'm not going to do the business deal. Okay. Well, is it a good business deal? Okay, yeah, great, then do it. Let's do it. Who cares? Whoever else is involved, is it good for you? Don't let emotions get in, don't let your ego, don't let pride get in the way of some kind of decision. Take emotions out of it.
No, that makes sense.
You should, because if all that's going to happen is there's going to be an argument and there's going to be no dealings met.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think this is an important one that you brought.
This one's very hard for me because I am not creative at all. I'm just not. Creativity is a talent of a lot of other people that aren't.
Well, sometimes we look at creativity in just the art world, but you are in the sales world, and so a person comes up with an objection as to why they don't wish to buy. A non-creative individual will go, okay.
No, that's true. And, I do this, it's so repetitious for me.
Sure.
That I guess, you lose.
Yeah, but you had to have that creativity to, first of all, understand, and then, what is creativity? Creativity is taking something and making something new.
Yeah.
And meeting the objection of why a person isn't going to buy takes a creative thought.
Yeah.
So you are creative.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I guess it's just because I've done it for so long that
Yeah.
it just becomes repetitious and you forget about it.
Sometimes when you're in a meeting with your people that you supervise, you have to take into account their feelings, and you have to take into account what they're saying, and then you have to take into account reality. And so you have to come up with a creative way of dealing with all those kinds of things. I think we have time for one more.
This one's huge.
Yes.
This one's huge. This is something that I didn't understand. You know, I was like, reading, that's terrible. Let's watch some TV. You know, and probably in the last 5-6 years, I've probably read more books
Very good.
than I have in my 40 years of being here on this planet Earth. You know, reading's important.
Yeah.
It is. You know, because think about this. You know, the more you read, the better you can communicate with people. A lot of texting out there, a lot of email out there. So if you can really communicate with somebody through email or text, it really shows.
Are you familiar with the alpha and the beta waves?
No.
The alpha waves are when you are relaxed, you're watching TV, and it's just sort of flow. Beta waves is when if I give you a column of numbers to add, you are completely focused. When you are reading, you are in the beta range.
Okay.
When you're watching TV, you're in the alpha, and you're letting that device force you to do whatever you need to do. And that's why reading is so important, is the fact that it keeps you.
Yeah. It does. It keeps you sharp.
Yes.
It really does.
Yes.
It really does. And nobody likes to read a misspelled, poorly typed email.
True.
It's going to get deleted.
That's right. That's right.
You know, never sleep in. Don't ever hit the snooze. You know, I didn't learn this till, well, I don't know, about 4 or 5 years ago, but be ready. When your feet hit the floor, be ready. Be ready to go.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And we have time for the last slide that you brought.
And this is one of the biggest things with winning the lottery. People are like, I'm going to buy an island. Isolate myself from everybody. What is buying an island? Buy an island. What's an island going to cost?
Oh, I don't know. $1 million?
I don't know. Well, let's call it $25 million.
Okay, all right.
You buy an island down in the Bahamas, $25 million.
Okay, all right.
Well, you got to build shelter.
Yeah.
You're going to have infrastructure, electric at least. What's that going to cost? I mean, you have $100 million. I can build whatever.
Yeah.
You're going to have supplies shipped to your island, you know, once a month, once a week. How expensive is that going to be?
Yeah.
So
one of the things that you're saying is don't build a wall.
correct. Don't build a wall around yourself.
Yeah.
And I hope you have a lucky quarter because I'm feeling lucky.
Hey, we're talking with Nicholas Dengel. He's a general manager at Glockner Chevrolet, and he's talking about what the current attitudes toward winning or earning X amount of dollars, etc. Nicholas, thank you very much for some insightful information. I'm Patrick Dengel. Thank you for listening.